Goosebumps Day is really what this is. This has been a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and I literally have had goosebumps all day. It's been so exciting. In 2008, we started noticing that there was a shift in the interests and the needs of the seniors in our community. It's this group of people, a lot of you know, called the boomers, and there's a lot of us. And we have different interests and we have different needs, and so we know that there were going to be a lot of boomers coming our way, and we wanted to be prepared. In 2008 is when that conversation started on the board of directors. But the process required a lot of patience, and there have been years of meetings and years of planning and years of talking about the project. And while the board was pondering the discussion or the decision on whether or not to proceed with the building project, I can still remember at one meeting that one of our former board members, maybe you know Bob Hammer, and Bob said something that stuck with me, and he quoted part of it, and it was, "We all rest in the shade of trees we did not plant." So Milt Pazance is the board chair from the Senior Center. Milt has taught me that some things take a while. Government needs patience. He's hammered that into my head for a long time, so I'm learning.
So this facility will be here for a long time and serve a lot of Senior Center people in the future. Seniors, you know, I had somebody ask me, well, can I join the Senior Center? I'm not living in Faribault. Well, yes, you can. It's Faribault and the surrounding area.
I do want to say many thanks to all the donors, our committee, and all the work they did. They were the solicitors who went out, they made the calls, the visits, they asked for money, they received pledges and many gifts. But a super thank you to Mona Kaiser, because Mona, you know, sooner or later, the one who wins is the one who thinks she can. And she believed that we could do it, and we've done it. So thanks, Mona. Congratulations, and let's move forward.
2, 1. statement is, the mission of Buckham West is to promote the physical, emotional, intellectual, economic, and social well-being of older adults, and to promote their participation in all aspects of community life in Faribault and the surrounding areas. I'd like to, at this time, introduce board members, past and present. The current board in attendance, could you rise or raise your hand when I read your name? John Battles, Julie Carver, Ken Doubles.
Here.
Don Ellens, he's left us. He's gone to warmer places. I don't mean that person. Kathy Hoban, Richard Hora, Winnie Hughes, Dave Jacobson.
Here.
My name is Isabel O'Connor. I'm here. Irene Paquette. Gloria Rodriguez.
Here.
Catherine Spool that just left. She's going on a flight to visit family. And last but definitely not least, Royal Ross. He was here. Well. Our new members, newly elected just this afternoon, are George Galvin, Terry Bromenschenkel, Sherry Eichorn, and Wally Wetzel. Could we have any former board chairs raise their hand when I read your name? Milt Pleasance, sweet little Joni Smith, Carolyn Heskett, there she is, and Marlis Mays. So, and could I have all past board members who are in attendance tonight raise your hand? Thank you all for everything. He's the former mayor of our dear, sweet city of Faribault.
Thank you very much. Mona, thank you for asking me to speak tonight. I'm truly honored to be up here. Mona and everybody, the community, the businesses, the seniors, the contractors, everybody, the city staff. I've been involved in actually a little bit of tidbit of information, and I want to thank Mona for inviting me to speak, but I want to say I'm a little upset because I realized when I was putting a timeline together that I've aged a little bit. And saying that underneath these roofs I have to be careful, but I started in government involvement 27 years ago. In 1993, I was a member of the Planning Commission, and I believe, I'm not very completely sure, but I think my second meeting, we approved the site plan for the original senior center just to my rear in 1993 when I was a Planning Commission member. We did that in 1993. Then in 1996, when I was a city council member, we actually did the ribbon cutting for the original senior center just behind me as well. Then in 2009, when I became the mayor, we started acquiring excess land for an expansion project that the only one in person that I know could get it done is Mona. And Mona obviously got it done, so cheers to her. She has done a great job. My point people when I was involved as the mayor was Mona and Paul Panansky, and they've done a phenomenal job in what we have here today. But if it wasn't for those two, Paul, stand up over there, will you please? Paul and Mona, this place would not be here, and as well as all of you, but these two deserve a round of applause. Truly what they've done. In 2012, Mona called me, and I was the mayor, and she said, I need some help. I want to expand the senior center. And we had some discussions, and it was Paul and myself. And the nice thing is, I think it's really relationship-based. If you want to succeed in politics, it's relationship-based. And Mona and Paul had a phenomenal relationship together, and what they did for this community, sharing back and forth with the previous senior center, using the time off for the community center and the time off here for the community recreational services to use this, and it was a really great project. So they did a great job. And then in 2013, we continued with more acquisition when I was the mayor. And then in June of 2014, we were called together again by Mona, and we discussed the revised 1993 development agreement. And Milt and I were tasked with that. I was on the board. I was the city council rep on the senior board. And Milt and I got together, and we talked about it, and we thought this was the right thing to do. And I'll be honest, at that time, 7 council members, not everybody was in favor of it, believe it or not. There was some concerns over setting precedents, what we were involved with. And I guess now that I've been in government for 27 years, no matter what project you think is good, typically you have 52-48. That means 52% of the people like it, and 48% will find some reason, something wrong why you did that. But I'll tell you what, this is a good project. And I would do it 10 times again if I had it. We did some discussion, basically a very simple thing to work together on some utility sharing, some maintenance things. It wasn't that complicated. We discussed it, we worked through it, and got an agreement that the city council then passed, and we got it approved, and we continued on. In 2016, I think in May, the funds were approved from the city when I was the mayor. We then hired Metcon to be the contractor, and we continued on with that. Then I became the senator. In 2006, during all this, I became the senator, and in 2017, I got to do a groundbreaking ceremony as the senator. So I've gone from planning commission member, city council, mayor, to senator, all in this project in 27 years. So we stand here tonight in December 11th with your ribbon cutting, and that's 27 years. That again, time goes fast. And I remember when I first ran for the Senate, I was talking to a couple people, and I was a member of the Mayor's Association, and I'd been recruited by some people at the Senate, and I kind of was asking questions, should I or shouldn't I do this? And the Mayor's Association said, you'd be crazy to go up there with those crazy folks and not get anything done. You have no control. And then I talked to the senators, and they said, you're going to love this. You can do big projects. And it has been that way. So in your small town as a mayor, you have these projects, you have a little bit more control, and there's this project about $2 million, and then you get to the Senate and you get to do bigger projects. So just got a $158 million Highway 14 project that was my bill that we got approved. So you can see those things go on. So this is a classic example. If you stay around long enough and stay involved in government long enough, you get to see the fruits of your work. So this is a classic example. So thanks again to Mona, to everything you've done. It was a great example of a public-private partnership. We worked together. We worked through some small things. Mona and Paul were great at that, as well as the rest of you that were involved with that. As I tour the state, as a senator, I'm in the bonding committee. So we tour the state and look at projects across the state. This year there's $5.8 billion in requests, about 446 projects. And we have to come up with a bonding bill that's about between $1 billion and $2 billion. So there's a lot of projects that get left out. But I'll tell you, the one question we look at when we look at a project is how it is proposed, who's involved, is there community involvement, is there project sharing and collaboration, and this is a classic example of that, of what was done here to make the money. It's blessed. You see donated furniture from the ACE people, from the Donahue family. You see Southern Heights dental furniture here. You see things that were donated to make this place what it is, and the people that were here to help it are phenomenal. So again, hats off to all of you for what you've done. This is a great project, and again, when you think back of what's good projects, and I've made a couple bad decisions, don't get me wrong, and I made a lot of good decisions, but this was a great, great project. So hats off to all of you, and thank you again, Mona, for having me here today to speak.
Thanks, John. So Mona invited me. She says we're going to have some fun on Wednesday night, and so I come and I look at the program. My name's on there. We're going to talk about the campaign. No, I'm just teasing. We really look forward to this for a long, long time. And there's many, many people, as John mentioned, that have been involved in this for such a long time. And so I look back too, not 27 years, but just almost 5 years ago, but in 2015, as we began to organize the committee to fundraise and to find the funds within our community that can make this project happen. And what a great group of people and people that worked really, really hard. I know I'm gonna probably miss some names, but it says on the program, I think, co-chair or chairperson of this fundraising, and we had several co-chairs. And let me just read those names. Some of you are here. Rod Mahler, Carolyn Heskett, Clarence Anderson, Bruce Krinke, Kathy Hoban, Scott Bolt, Dick Carlander, myself. And I maybe left a few people off, because when we went up to the Washington School, as where we first started to meet, we took up an entire elementary classroom with all the adults that were in there to talk about this project, and began planning to raise nearly $2 million. $1.9 million was our goal. And goodness, you look around the room at that time and you say, well, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And what I think about is vision, and that this community is great at putting together a vision. And the city had gone through the visioning of our 25-year plan. And what better way to start that vision off but anchoring it with this great project at the south end of Central Avenue, when we talk about how important your downtown is to a community like Faribault. And so I asked myself, well, why do you want to be involved? And as I thought about that, we do have a good plan and a good vision here in Faribault. I want to be a part of that. And I also want to be part of the committee. And as many of you know, I'm a self-proclaimed sportsaholic, so it's all about team. And so it took a great team of entire community, and it's about team and community that really made this come together. And I really have to give hats off to Mona as the director here in leading this. She never gave up. I mean, there were times when a lot of us, our tails were dragging a little bit, and it's like, are you kidding? We're going to go out and make a few more calls. We're going to talk to some of those same people. And in fact, I have some pledge forms out in my truck, and I thought I'd bring along too, you know, just in case, to pay those last few dollars. But that's what it takes. And Mona had this bulldogging attitude towards making sure everyone, and I mean everyone, got asked and invited to be a part of this project. And you know, we looked at a historical timeline, and John went through quite a bit there, but some of the facts here, you know, the donors totaled over 650 people and organizations. And it's not just the people, but also the contractors and the in-kind gifts and the things that each one of you maybe did, maybe making some coffee or supporting your spouse as they went out and made calls and were a part of this. And it takes a community, and so the entire community has made this happen and brought this together. And I just stand up here as someone who, you know, kind of led the way for all of this to happen, but not myself, but with each and every one of all of you that have been a part of this and now can be a part of it for generations to come. So I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the effort to raise the funds to be able to put this project together. I was happy to be there, and I'll be happy to be there again when the time arises that we do even more within this great community of Faribault. So thank you.
I've already cried like 3 times tonight, so I'm just super emotional. I started crying when the job superintendents walked in the door because they had been out on a project and they're coming with stocking caps, and I'm going, oh my God, Steve's here, and oh my God, Bob Osmond's here. It was like so great. So I'm very emotional. I'm very emotional. The project, this is 11 years in the making. Can you believe it? 11 years. 2008 is the first time that I found minutes that talked about a building expansion. And now we're here, 2019. We talked a long time about by the year 2020, there will be more seniors, older adults, than school-age children. And that seemed like, oh, well, that's never gonna come around. 2020, there will be more seniors or retirees than school-age children. And that's from the Minnesota Demographer's Office. So that's like a statistic that I used over and over. So we planned and we prepared because we knew the boomers were coming, you know. You're born between 46 and 64, and now it's our turn, you know, it's our turn, we're coming. And we wanted to be prepared for that group of people. Fitness, education, and socialization are the things that people wanted. Those are the retirees that led the way for us and that are our members. Those are the things they wanted, and those are the things that we wanted to make sure we had. Socialization in this room, coffee, we have a great group of people here all the time. Conference room for our education, and then our fitness studio. So we made a lot of friends, we created a lot of relationships within the construction field, within people that we talked to who gave us contributions, people that I am so proud to have met and got to know. So I'm going to talk next a little bit about the recognition wall, because this really acknowledges all of the people that were part of this project. The insert that you have has all the names listed on everybody that gave. What was that number, Todd? What did we say?
650?
650 unique donors. So 650 unique donors. And I worked months on that list, but it still, if your name isn't on there, and it should be, make sure you catch up with me, but months, literally. So one of the things that we talked about when we were fundraising was that we said we would put donors' names on at the $1,000 level. So $1,000 donors and up, and that breakdown is also in your program. So if you're curious about who a friend is or a partner or a legacy donor, that is in that program, so that can give you a little more information. But we were not able to put 650 donors' names on the wall. And so we do have all of you listed tonight in that program. That recognition wall was in my head for like a really long time. And I kind of knew how it was going to look and what I wanted. And it started with the quote. And the quote came from our dear friend Bob Hammer, who was at the board meeting when the motion was made. And he said that. He said, we all sit in the shade of trees. He paraphrased it, but he said, we all sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. And it struck such a chord with me because it's so true. You gave a gift, a financial gift or an in-kind gift to this community so that other people that are coming after you will have something nice. So I thought it was really appropriate. In fact, I even have Bob participating. He's here tonight. Where is he? I saw him right there. Bob is a former board member, and Bob will be participating in the ribbon cutting coming up in a few minutes. So he will be, we wanted to acknowledge him in that way. We also have the tree. I actually envisioned this Minnesota pine tree, but Jeff Jarvis, who took this vision that was in my head and put it up there, said, Mona, pine trees are not shade trees. So we have Jeff's version of what it should be. So Jeff Jarvis, who's right here, if you want to give him a round of applause. He's the guy that made all the contacts and took care of all of this for us. So I am just so pleased that this piece turned into a piece of artwork, really is what the hope was. So I wanted to make sure everybody kind of understood the names. And there's two particular acknowledgements that I do want to talk about. And one of them is I would like to recognize the Petroff family. Everyone had the option to make a gift and receive naming rights when they made a gift. And the Petras used this opportunity to name the Commons area for their father and husband. And I see Kathy is here. Where is she? Kathy Petra. Very good, Kathy. Thank you for coming. The Petras named this room, which is our Commons room, after their father and husband. And their intention is to acknowledge the love that Dale Petra had for the community of Faribault. And we're honored that they decided to see that our project would be a way that they could do that and honor him. Apparently, as Trevor is one of the Petra sons, said his dad had a love for socialization, and so he thought it was fitting that this social area would be named for Dale Petra. So I would like to, I don't know if anybody else is here. Kathy, are you representing the Petras on your own tonight? I would like everybody to acknowledge and thank them. One of the other things I want everybody to notice is that the lettering here is vinyl lettering on this wall and on that wall. There is a different format that we will be using, but the production timing was not perfect, and so we have put it in vinyl, but it'll be permanently done within the next couple of weeks. So now I have another very, very special, if you want to come up, Todd, I want you to be part of this. So along with the Petra Commons, we also would like to unveil the name of another room in our building. This person put his life on hold and made the very, very first gift to our capital campaign. Would you like to announce it?
I'd love to. And we're going to unveil it down here. Mr. Clarence Anderson, Andy. And so the Anderson room. And I can't say enough about, I was talking about Mona and how she just wouldn't quit. Here's another gentleman that would never quit on our community and for this project. And he had spent a lot of meetings here at my office, up at Washington School, and every time we turned around, there was Clarence saying, well, maybe we could call someone so-and-so, or should we follow up on a call here or a call there? And Clarence, I use this with our sales staff often, and Clarence always said, if you don't follow up within 72 hours, you might as well not make the call. So it's all about the follow-up, and something that he taught me and taught many of us in our community, and what a great leader in this effort here for us. Not only the first, but throughout the entire way.
So we now have the Anderson Room and we have the Petra Commons. So I'm very proud, and I'm really happy that we were able to acknowledge all that hard work, Andy, that you put in for us. So before we move over to the ribbon cutting, I have just a couple of final announcements. We do have a video that's looped in the conference room, and it shows the ribbon groundbreaking and a lot of the construction photos that were put together. Julie Fox from Fox Video put that together for us, and so if you haven't seen it, please take a few minutes. It's an 8-minute video, so it's very, very cool. I had one of my board members go, I didn't know it was going to be so emotional. So it was very nice. I also want to acknowledge that the food tonight was provided by the Metcon companies and the local Edward Jones team. I see Kate and Jim over there. Thank you, if you guys want to acknowledge those people. And of course, the Metcon companies also provided that. And Randy McDonough was here, but I see Scott is still here. So you pass the word that we acknowledge them. Scott, thank you. We're selling raffle tickets. If you feel like you want to try to win a 2-night stay at Shattuck St. Mary's, or a beautiful blanket from the Woolen Mills, or a membership to the Paradise, we just never stop around here. So the tickets are only $3, and we're drawing tonight. So it's just a one-shot thing. If you didn't get a tour, make sure you get one before you leave. Thank you for Ray Bauer for helping us with the cash bar. He took good care of us, and I hope he took good care of you too. So the people that will be participating in our ribbon cutting, their information is on the back of your program. And so I won't tell you a lot about all these people, but I do want to name them. First of all, Paul Panoski, who will be joining us, holding the scissors with me. He has been, right there, and it couldn't have happened. We also have Bob Hammer, who will be joining us, and Clarence Anderson will be joining us. Scott Brown will be there representing Metcon. And my partner in crime, Brenda Johnson, there she is. So that also could never have happened without her. So she kept me from climbing under my desk. And Mona, get out. You have to talk to people. So Brenda, I also wanted Brenda to be part of this. So I would like those people that are going to be doing the ribbon cutting to head over towards the door. Once we are done with that, there will be pictures, but that'll be the end of our program. And I'd love you to stay as long as your little heart desires. So thanks, everybody.
3, 2, 1.